Hello, and welcome back to Whofiles. I am very happy you are here again, listening to this podcast, maybe in your car, maybe on your way to work or school. Today is a new episode. Today we will talk about a very important topic, vocabulary for exams. In our last episode, we talked about speaking fluently. Today we will learn important words. These words will help you in reading, in listening, and in speaking during your exams. Are you ready? Let's start. Part 1. Why vocabulary is important. First, let's talk about why vocabulary is so important for exams. Imagine you are reading a text in your exam. If you know many words, you understand the text easily. If you know only a few words, you feel lost. Vocabulary is like a key. With the right key, you can open many doors. With the right words, you can understand many texts, many conversations, and many questions. But here is something important. You do not need to know every word in the English language. That is impossible, even for native speakers. Instead, you need to know the most common and useful words. These are words that appear again and again in many different exams. Today, I will teach you 5 groups of words. These words are very useful for exams. They will help you talk about opinions, comparisons, problems, and more. Let's begin with group number 1. Before we start, let me give you one more reason why vocabulary matters so much. In listening exams, if you do not know a key word, you might miss the whole meaning of a sentence, even if you understand all the other words. In reading exams, unknown words can make you feel confused, and you may lose time trying to guess the meaning. And in speaking exams, if you do not have enough vocabulary, you repeat the same simple words again and again, and your answers sound less impressive to the examiner. This is why today we focus on quality vocabulary, words that are used again and again across many different exam topics. Learn these 25 words well, and you will notice a real difference in your understanding and your speaking. Part 2. Group 1. Giving opinions. The first group of words helps you give your opinion. In exams, teachers often ask, "What do you think?" So these words are very useful. Word number 1. Believe. You use believe to say what you think is true. For example, I believe English is important. Word number 2. Agree. You use agree when you have the same opinion as someone else. For example, I agree with you. Word number 3. Disagree. This is the opposite of agree. You use it when you have a different opinion. For example, I disagree with this idea. Word number 4. Prefer. You use prefer to say which thing you like more. For example, I prefer tea to coffee. Word number 5. Important. You use important to say something matters a lot. For example, education is very important. Let's practice. I will say a question. In your head, try to answer using one of these words. Do you like sports? You could say, I believe sports are good for health. Tea or coffee? You could say, I prefer coffee. Very good. These 5 words, believe, agree, disagree, prefer, and important, will help you in almost every exam conversation about opinions. Let's add 2 more words to this group. Word number 6. Suggest. You use suggest to give an idea or a recommendation. For example, I suggest studying every day, even for a short time. Word number 7. Consider. You use consider to say you are thinking carefully about something. For example, I consider English to be a very useful skill. Now, let's practice these 2 new words. Try this sentence in your head. I suggest that you consider practicing every day. Very good. Now you have 7 strong words for expressing opinions. Part 3, Group 2, Comparing Things. The second group of words helps you compare two things. This is very common in exams, especially in essays and speaking tests. Word number 1, similar. You use similar when two things are almost the same. For example, these two books are similar. Word number 2, different. This is the opposite of similar. You use it when two things are not the same. For example, these two cities are very different. Word number 3, better. You use better to say one thing has more quality than another. For example, this restaurant is better than that one. Word number 4, worse. This is the opposite of better. For example, the weather today is worse than yesterday. Word number 5, compared to. You use this phrase to compare two things directly. For example, compared to last year, this year is easier. Let's practice a small sentence together. Try this in your head. My city is different compared to the capital city. Very good. These words help you build strong comparison sentences, which examiners like to see in essays and speaking answers. Let's add 2 more useful comparison words. Word number 6, the same as. This phrase is another way to say two things are equal. For example, my opinion is the same as yours. Word number 7, unlike. This word introduces a difference similar to different from. For example, unlike my brother, I enjoy studying English. Let's practice. Unlike last year, this exam feels easier, but the questions are the same as before. Excellent. Now you have 7 strong tools for making comparisons in your speaking and writing. Part 4, Group 3, Problems and Solutions. The third group of words helps you talk about problems and solutions. Many exam topics ask about problems in the world and possible solutions. Word number 1, problem. A problem is something difficult, something that needs to change. For example, pollution is a big problem. Word number 2, solution. A solution is an answer to a problem, a way to fix it. For example, recycling is one solution to pollution. Word number 3, cause. A cause is the reason why something happens. For example, the cause of the problem is too many cars. Word number 4, effect. An effect is the result of something. For example, one effect of pollution is bad air quality. Word number 5, improve. You use improve to say something becomes better. For example, we need to improve public transport. Let's practice. Try to say this sentence in your head. The cause of the problem is clear, but the solution will improve the situation. Excellent. These words are extremely useful in essay writing and speaking exams, especially when the topic is about society, environment, or education. Let's add 2 more words to this group. Word number 6, challenge. A challenge is a difficult task, something that requires effort. For example, learning a language is a big challenge, but it is possible. Word number 7, solve. You use solve to say you find an answer to a problem. For example, we need to work together to solve this problem. Let's practice. This is a real challenge, but I believe we can solve it together. Very good. 7 strong words now, all connected to problems and solutions. Part 5, Group 4, Academic and Formal Words. The fourth group is a little different. These are academic words. You will see these words often in reading texts, in listening passages, and in formal writing. Word number 1, however. You use however to show a contrast, similar to but more formal. For example, the test was difficult, however, I passed. Word number 2, therefore. You use therefore to show a result, similar to so, but more formal. For example, I studied hard, therefore I passed the exam. Word number 3, although. You use although to introduce a surprising or contrasting idea in the same sentence. For example, although it was raining, we went outside. Word number 4, despite. This word is similar to although, but used a little differently in the sentence. For example, despite the rain, we went outside. Word number 5, in addition. You use this phrase to add extra information, similar to also, but more formal. For example, I like this school. In addition, the teachers are very kind. These 5 words, however, therefore, although, despite, and in addition, are common in formal English. You will find them in almost every exam reading text. Let's practice. Try this sentence. The exam was long. However, therefore, I stayed calm and, in addition, I managed my time well. Good. Learning to recognize these words will help you understand reading texts much faster during your exams. Let's add 2 more academic words. Word number 6, moreover. This word adds another idea, similar to in addition, but even more formal. For example, the book is interesting. Moreover, it is easy to read. Word number 7, consequently. This word shows a result similar to therefore. For example, she studied every day. Consequently, she passed with a high score. These academic words appear very often in newspaper articles, formal essays, and university-level reading passages. Recognizing them quickly will help you understand the structure of a text, even before you understand every single word. Part 6, Group 5, describing people, places, and things. The 5th group helps you describe people, places, and things. This is useful for speaking tests and for descriptive reading passages. Word number 1, friendly. You use friendly to describe someone who is kind and easy to talk to. For example, my teacher is very friendly. Word number 2, crowded. You use crowded to describe a place with many people. For example, the city center is very crowded. Word number 3, convenient. You use convenient to describe something useful and easy to use. For example, this bus stop is very convenient for me. Word number 4, modern. You use modern to describe something new using new ideas or technology. For example, this is a modern building. Word number 5, traditional. This is the opposite of modern. You use it to describe something old connected to the past. For example, this is a traditional dish from my country. Let's practice. My city has both modern buildings and traditional markets. It is crowded, but the people are friendly. Excellent. With these words, you can describe almost anything: a city, a school, a person, a house, or an object. Let's add 2 more descriptive words. Word number 6, peaceful. You use peaceful to describe a calm, quiet place. For example, my village is very peaceful. Word number 7, exhausted. You use exhausted to describe someone who is very, very tired. For example, after the exam, I felt exhausted. Let's practice. The village was peaceful, but after the long trip, I felt exhausted. Very good. Now you have 28 strong exam words in total across all 5 groups. Part 7, Practice Moment. Now let's do a practice moment together. I will say a sentence using one of today's words. After a pause, please repeat the sentence out loud. Sentence 1. I believe practice is important. Now you say it. Sentence 2. These two cities are very different. Now you say it. Sentence 3. The solution will improve the situation. Now you say it. Sentence 4. Although it was difficult, I finished the exam. Now you say it. Sentence 5. The city is crowded but very convenient. Now you say it. Let's continue with a few more sentences using the extra words we added to each group. Sentence 6. I suggest that you consider your options carefully. Now you say it. Sentence 7. Unlike my friend, I prefer studying in the morning. Now you say it. Sentence 8. This is a real challenge, but we can solve it. Now you say it. Sentence 9. She practiced daily. Consequently, her English improved a lot. Now you say it. Sentence 10. After a long day, I felt exhausted but peaceful. Now you say it. Very good. You are building strong exam vocabulary one sentence at a time. Part 8. How to remember new words. Before we finish, let's talk about how to remember all these new words. Learning a word one time is not enough. You need a system. Tip number 1. Write the word in a sentence, not alone. Instead of writing just improve, write a full sentence. We need to improve our English. This helps your brain remember the word with context. Tip number 2. Group words by topic. For example, keep all opinion words together, all comparison words together. This helps your brain organize information better. Tip number 3. Review your words regularly. Look at your list after 1 day, then after 3 days, then after 1 week. This is called spaced repetition, and it is one of the best ways to remember vocabulary long term. Tip number 4. Use the new words in your own sentences, out loud, as soon as possible. The faster you use a new word actively, the faster it becomes part of your natural vocabulary. Try to add just 5 new words to your list every day. 5 words a day becomes 35 words a week and over 150 words a month. Small daily steps create big results. Part 8b. Using vocabulary in real exam situations. Before we move to the summary, let's talk about how to actually use these words in real exam situations. Knowing a word is one thing. Using it correctly at the right moment is another skill. In a speaking exam, examiners are often impressed when a candidate uses 1 or 2 strong vocabulary words naturally in a normal sentence. You do not need to use 10 difficult words in one answer. Using 2 or 3 good words clearly and correctly is much better than using many words incorrectly. For example, imagine the examiner asks, "What do you think about your city?" A simple answer would be, "My city is nice." This answer is correct, but very short and basic. Now, listen to a stronger answer using our vocabulary. "I believe my city is quite convenient, although it can be crowded. However, compared to other cities, I consider it peaceful." Do you hear the difference? The second answer uses believe, convenient, although, crowded, compared to, however, and consider. 7 words from today's lesson used naturally in just 2 sentences. This is your goal, not memorizing words as a list, but weaving them naturally into your normal speech. In reading exams, these words help you differently. When you see however or although, your brain should immediately expect a contrast, a change of direction in the idea. When you see therefore or consequently, your brain should expect a result or a conclusion. Training your brain to recognize these signal words quickly will help you understand the structure of a text even under time pressure. Part 9. Summary. Let's summarize everything we learned today. Group 1. Words for opinions: believe, agree, disagree, prefer, important. Group 2. Words for comparisons: similar, different, better, worse, compared to. Group 3. Words for problems and solutions: problem, solution, cause, effect, improve. Group 4. Academic and formal words: however, therefore, although, despite, in addition. Group 5. Words for describing people, places, and things: friendly, crowded, convenient, modern, traditional. That is 28 useful words today. If you review them regularly and use them in your own sentences, your vocabulary for exams will grow quickly. Part 10. Closing. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Whofiles. I hope this vocabulary helps you feel more confident and prepared for your next exam, whether it is a reading test, a listening test, or a speaking test. Remember, vocabulary building is like collecting small tools. Every new word is a new tool in your toolbox. The more tools you have, the more problems you can solve, and the more ideas you can express. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Whofiles for new episodes every week, covering listening, reading, speaking, and vocabulary for exams. Keep practicing, keep learning, and I will see you in the next episode. This is Whofiles saying goodbye.